Thank you so much for coming. My name is Dorian Gray.
The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, first published in 1890. It is a novel that especially made a name for itself in the last century of the Victorian age, because of the story it's telling and the meaning lying underneath. The novel tells the story of a young and beautiful man, Dorian Gray. Firstly, it starts with Howard Basil's adoration of young Dorian Gray, which leads him to paint a portrait of the young man. Through Basil, Dorian meets Lord Henry Wotton, and he becomes charmed by the aristocrat's hedonistic worldview, that things, beauty and sensual fulfillment are the only things worth pursuing in life. Understanding that his beauty will fade one day, Dorian expresses the desire to stay always young. He wants the picture to get old rather than him. One day his wish comes true and Dorian pursues a hedonistic and sinful life of corrupt moral experiences, while staying young and beautiful. All the while, his portrait ages and records every sin he committed. In the end, the young man, cornered by his fears and paranoia, stabs the picture with a knife and in the process kills himself. In light of these, we can dive deeper into our subject, the role of the devil and being a devil's advocate. There are a variety of themes and key points in this novel, but the role of Lord Henry might be the biggest among all others. Lord Henry as a character uses his words to make gains on and to influence Dorian Gray in every possible way. From the beginning, being hedonistic, sinister, cunning, and sometimes with devilish undertone, Lord Henry strikes the eye as a different character than others. The main story actually begins with Lord Henry and ends with his teachings to Dorian Gray. His presence is rather ambiguous, and one might think Lord Henry as a devil of some sort, because the plotline of the story includes and respects every part of Lord Henry. But we don't encounter any action of Lord Henry whatsoever. Thus, it feels like Dorian Gray is actually having a friendship with the ghost, but we do know that Lord Henry is real. Nevertheless, still it gives the impression of something much more bigger. We can see his powerful grip on Dorian Gray as in form of bond between two characters. With some sort of understanding, we can see some motives that look like bargain and agreement between the devil and the Dorian Gray, which in form of Lord Henry. The form of the novel heavily emphasizes the supernatural aspects of all things. It is a rather distinctive perspective to make a claim, but the narrative is obvious. For example, we can look into many times when Lord Henry giving a devious advices to Dorian Gray. After a while, Dorian starts calling Henry as Harry, which in some perspective it is a very familiar with the name Old Harry, whose meaning is devil. Moreover, Henry does not undergo a significant change in the course of the narrative of the book as well. He has coolly composed, unshakable, and possessed of the same dry wit in the final pages of the novel as he is upon his introduction. This makes it interesting in a way that he looks and acts different than others, which he's only talking with them and all of a sudden things start to happen. The painting and the yellow book have a profound effect on Dorian, influencing him to predominant immoral behavior over the course of nearly 2 decades. Lord Henry points out that there is something terribly enthralling in the exercise of influence. Falling under the sway of such influence is perhaps unavoidable, but it because of the Lord Henry and its tighter grip on almost anything that is related to Dorian. The Yellow Book itself represents the teachings of a sinful life and more to Dorian Gray, and again it comes from Lord Henry. The book represents the profound and damaging influence that art and obsession can have over an individual and serves as a warning to those who would surrender themselves to completely such an influence. It's the book of the devil. We can admit that Lord Henry is the portrayal of the devil in the story, and Dorian sold his soul to him to stay young forever. With this, Dorian changed, and everything he has been doing in the story changed with him, and that is a powerful material for a Victorian novel. This representation of the devil comes in the form of pleasure and anything that Victorian society called sinful. The imagery as well works in this way, and then we understand the reason behind why Wilde made these characters in these ways.
What are you? Oh! I have so many names. See. Call me Dad.
I think in many cases, we all can relate to this story. We all are and have been in search of something new and different in our lives. We seek pleasure, we take risks, and want to live our lives like it's the last. We all making deals with the devil sometimes, even if we are not intended to. But in any case, we all know deep down, it is the harmony of the good and the evil that makes us human. Our search for the truth and lies makes us feel like we are living, and in the end, only living matters. Thus, the angels and the devils of this world always are with us, no matter what.